There is no doubt that crowds can potentially play a role in the game of hockey, or any other sport for that matter, when it comes to how well a team does. After all, there is usually a reason why for most professional sports teams, their home record is better than their away record, and hockey fans are some of the most passionate fans in sports. So without further ado, let's get to who the 10 greatest crowds in NHL history are. In some cases, teams are even close enough to each other that you have just as many fans of one team as the other do. Or there may be instances where there are a lot of people who move from one city to another, causing the team's home games, where the people migrated to get a lot more of the opposing fans, which can sometimes make those series even more fun. Without further ado, here are some of the greatest crowds in Stanley Cup history. Game 7, 2017 Eastern Conference Finals. In a game that resulted in a 3-2 overtime win for the Pittsburgh Penguins over the Ottawa Centaurs. The win put them in the Stanley Cup against the Nashville Predators, a series which they eventually won in 6 games. Not only did the crowd get extremely loud once the goal was scored, the entire Pittsburgh Penguins team went crazy and started hugging each other as well. In addition to all the cheering by the fans, there was also a horn with smoke coming out, which lasted for at least a good 30 seconds. For number 2, we have the Nashville Predators in Game 6 of the NHL playoffs, which finished in a triple overtime win for the Predators after they beat the San Jose Sharks 4-3 in overtime. When the game-winning goal was scored, there were fans banging on the glass. There was an air horn being sounded off which emitted smoke, and all of the Nashville players were hugging each other after the goal, which propelled them into Game 7 of the second round of the 2016 Stanley Cup playoffs. For number 3, we have the Los Angeles Kings in Game 5 of the 2014 Stanley Cup, after the Kings' Alec Martinez blasted a goal in overtime off a rebound in which the Rangers' Jonathan Quick had a shot bounce off his pad and officially clinched the cup for the Los Angeles Kings in 5 games. As for the celebration, it once again contained an air horn and Martinez getting mobbed by his teammates for the goal that gave them the ultimate prize. Moving on to 4, we have a first-round game between the New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals in the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs right after the Islanders' Julian Tavares knocks home a goal 15 seconds into overtime, winning the game for New York and putting them up 2-1 in the first-round series in the 2020 NHL playoffs. The post-game celebration by the fans easily lasted well over a minute, and it was with good reason, as Islanders fans had a good reason to celebrate. As the Capitals and Islanders have a playoff history that goes all the way back to 1983. For number 5, we have the Boston Bruins crowd after beating another Original Six team in the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 7 of the 2013 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Some fans were seen banging on the glass so hard that it literally looked like they were going to knock the glass down. Other fans were seen waving towels and throwing things. Moving on to number 6, we have Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers after the Devils scored, propelling them into the Stanley Cup in 2012, and over the years has turned out to be one of the greater rivalries in hockey. As the only thing separating the two things geographically is one state and the Hudson River. Unfortunately, New Jersey was unable to completely propel that success into the Stanley Cup as they lost to the Los Angeles Kings in 6 games. For number 7, we have the 2006 Stanley Cup won. The Carolina Hurricanes won its first Stanley Cup in franchise history as the seconds tick it down in the final game, a series in which they beat the Edmonton Oilers in 7 games. Not only did the Hurricanes win their first Stanley Cup, it is also the first championship in the history of professional sports that was awarded to a team that is located in the state of North Carolina. Moving on to number 8, we have the New Jersey Devils fans once again. And once again, we have fans throwing things in celebration and trying to rock the glass after their team won.
He shoots, saved by Briscoe, and then he scores! Alexei Konokorovsky wins it for the New Jersey Devils!
With a little bit more than 2 minutes in the first overtime period in the 2012 Eastern Conference semifinals, which put the Devils up 2-1 and win 4-3 for the game. For number 9, we have the Phoenix Coyotes crowd in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals after beating the Nashville Predators with just under 6 minutes left in overtime in the 2012 playoffs. Phoenix enjoyed a lot of success in that series as they won it in 5 games, but didn't have quite as much success in the next round as they lost to the Los Angeles Kings in the Western Conference semifinals. Moving on to number 10, we have the Montreal Canadiens as P.K. Subban got ahead of the entire Boston Bruins defense and scored the first goal of Game 3 of the second round of series with a little over 5 minutes left in the first period. A standing ovation which lasted at least 30 seconds.
Subban on the breakaway. He scores!
For number 11, we have Game 6 of the 2015 Stanley Cup Finals when the Chicago Blackhawks clinched a Stanley Cup over the Tampa Bay Lightning. The fans' celebration consisted of roaring and also throwing hats onto the ice just as one had just accomplished a hat trick, and is one of those special moments in Chicago history where the entire town went crazy for everybody watching.